Hey guys, how's it going? I'm gonna be trying to help people get this set up. This is gonna be hopefully a quick and easy guide on how to set up Fightcade 2, the new version of Fightcade 2, Fightcade Neo, or whatever people are calling it now. Basically, there's a lot of setup that goes into this, and I've gotten a lot of questions as to how to set this up in a way that is easy. But unfortunately, it's not super easy. It's not an overly complicated thing, but it does involve quite a bit of configuration. So, with all that said, I'm going to try and break it down for people as simple as possible. You're basically going to need Windows 7 or 8. I'm sorry, 7, 8, or 10. Once you have that downloaded for whatever platform you're using, either Mac or Linux, you can click on that version. It will ask you to save it. You're going to want to save that there. Wherever you save it is kind of inconsequential. Once you save that, it's going to look like this. This is what your folder for Fightcade should look like. Assets folder, Emulator folder, Fightcade 2 Electron, an empty ROMs folder, Fightcade Neo run ahead options, which I still have zipped. You're going to have the Fightcade updater, Fightcade 1 and Fightcade 2, as well as the update log and the version log. Fightcade 1, I assume, is going to become basically outdated at some point. They're going to stop including it in the package. But currently it's still up, so for those of you guys that want to continue playing on Fightcade 1, just keep doing what you're doing until they discontinue it. But for Fightcade 2, there's a little bit of configuration that comes with it. It's a little different from configuring Fightcade 1 if you're used to Fightcade 1. Basically what you're going to want to do before you do anything else, you're going to want to register your account. Username, password, it confirms your password, and your email. Now I should mention that your email is of absolutely no consequence. This email goes nowhere. There's no confirmation email sent anywhere. There's no need for an actual email. You can make up whatever fake email you want at whatever fake email host. So it can be like fake email at totallyrealemail.com and it'll accept it. The only things that matter are a username that isn't already in use and a matching password. That's it. That's all you need. If you're having trouble with anything else, you can go to the FAQ here, and it has some stuff. It's not a full explanation of everything, but there's a lot of frequently asked questions that do get answered here. So if you guys want to go over this just to try and, I don't know, get some questions answered that maybe this video doesn't answer, this is a good resource as well. Once you've registered your account and you have Fightcade downloaded and unzipped, and I should mention, for those of you that are super new to this, a zipped folder is literally just a compressed folder. So basically like the folder you're viewing now, except instead of having all the options already freely accessible, they're compressed and not accessible until I unzip them. So a zip folder, you'll basically extract all of the options. You'll right click and click extract all if you're using Windows 10. I'm not sure if other Windows versions have this capability by default, but if you need in a program to unzip folders, you can use either WinZip or 7Z. Both those programs will allow you to unzip files. So for those of you guys that are using maybe Mac or Linux, it might be a different process for you guys. But as far as Windows is concerned, you should be able to just extract all, and then once you click that, it gives you an option as to where to put it. Yeah, that's basically it as far as zip folders go. So once you download Fightcade, it may come in a zip folder. I don't remember exactly, but if it does, just unzip it anywhere. Once you unzip it, your folder will look exactly like this. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to locate where you can get ROMs. I have a Google Drive that has all my ROMs uploaded from Fightcade 1. So it has literally everything that I had on Fightcade 1, including the new version of Third Strike that is needed for Fightcade 2, which is different from Fightcade 1. If you guys want this link, hit me up. I'll give it to you. Once you download it, it's actually going to show up in 3 different zip files because it's such a huge download. You're just going to need to put all 3 folders in the same folder or the same area on your computer, so that way it can unzip them all. Otherwise, you won't be able to unzip any of them. So you need all 3 folders. Once you're done downloading this link, it will unzip them all. And then once you unzip them, you're going to want to put them in the ROMs folder that comes with the Fightcade folder. So when it asks you where to unzip them, just click this ROMs folder. And as you can see, I have all my ROMs already here. I believe the Third Strike, let's see if I can find it. The Third Strike file that you need should be like something like SF3, and then the number 3, and then N, and then I think it's something else. Let's see if I can find it. This is all SS. SF3, and yeah, here we go. I think this might be the one. I think this is the one that you need. SF3NR1 or SF3N. It's got to be one of those. I have both, but I'm pretty sure you need at least one of them. But if you download the zip that, or I'm sorry, the Google ROM, you should be able to have everything that you need. That's it as far as the ROMs go. The next thing you want to do, guys, is... Oh, I'm sorry, I closed it. Let's go back there. Sorry, guys. Fightcade. You're going to want to go into actual Fightcade too. It's going to ask you for your login information. Once you put that in, I'm already logged in, so it's not going to happen for me. But once it is logged in, it'll automatically keep you logged in until you click here and then click log out. Once you're logged in, the first thing you're going to see actually is this screen. This is your game channel screen where you can join various lobbies. Currently, you can only join up to 3 lobbies if you're not a patron. So for anyone that isn't a patron, you can only join up to 3 lobbies. And then you can search all the games by going next page, or you can search by name. So if you wanted to search Magical Drop, for example, it brings up all the Magical Drop lobbies that you can join. So Magical Drop 3, Magical Drop Japan, Drop 2 Japan, Drop 2 Arcade, Arcade from Fightcade 1, and then 3 from Fightcade 1 as well. So if you wanted to do Third Strike, for example, which is why I assume you're watching this video, you would just put in Third Strike, and there we go. So you have the Fightcade 1 version of Third Strike, and then you have the Fightcade 2 version of Third Strike. So what you'll need is the Japan 990512 no CD version, which I believe is already in the folder that you extracted and put into the Fightcade ROMs folder. Once you do that, just to make sure that you have it set correctly, you can go to Open ROMs folder, and if it's configured correctly, you'll see all the ROMs in this folder. That's just to double check. The next thing you're going to do is, once you've established that the ROMs are in the right folder, you're going to want to click Join. I'm already currently in the Third Strike Fightcade 2 room, or lobby, so that's why it shows up here under Channels, right? Once you're in here, there's a couple things that you want to do before you start getting games in. The first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go over to your settings, right? Smoothing/input lag is automatic for most people by default. I'm pretty sure it's set to automatic. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to either put it on 0, disregard the more jerky thing, it will cause rollback, but you'll get less input delay. Automatic to me seems to be constantly adjusting during the match, so it can fluctuate as you're playing in the same round between 0, 1, 2, 3, depending on how the ping is going, right? That's not what you want. You want a consistent input delay no matter the connection. So if it's 0, your input delay will be 0 as far as not adding anymore. So it'll stay consistent at 0. If you have 1, it'll stay consistent at 1. If you have 2 or 3 or 4. I've heard for international connections, automatic may be better, but I have not tested that in theory, so I can't confirm or deny that. That's just something that I've heard. As far as ranked player goes, if you have this enabled, people will be allowed to challenge you for rank sets. They can challenge you either, I believe the options are first to 2, first to 3, 5, 10, and 20. If you have it disabled, people can still challenge you when you're looking to play, but they aren't able to do so for sets. I believe they're only able to just play casual matches with you. You can have desktop notifications and sound notifications, as well as user event notifications enabled. Currently, I have mine disabled for that. But yeah, that's basically it as far as configuration goes. The most important thing really is if you're in America and you're trying to get consistent games and you have a solid wired connection, I would have it on 0. If you are on Wi-Fi, I would have it on 1. It will add just a little bit, 1 frame of input delay, but for consistency's sake, I would just have it on 1. The next thing you're going to want to do to make sure that the game actually works and you have the correct ROM is you're going to go up here to the right hand side and click Test Game. Once you've clicked Test Game, the emulator will pop up, and you'll have a few options here now. The first thing that will happen is the game will load right if you have the correct ROM and you have it placed in the correct folder. If you get a black screen and nothing happens, then more than likely your ROM is incorrect or you don't have it in the correct folder. And you need to go back and make sure that you have the file that I provided where you can download all the ROMs, or to make sure that you put it in the ROMs folder for the Fightcade folder. You can go to video now to start setting up your options here. Personal preference, I believe experimental DirectX Graphics 9 works best. That's just been my experience. It might be set to DirectX 9 Alt by default, or SoftFX. Just mess around with it and see which one is best for you. I found that experimental works best for me. I'm using Windows 10, so perhaps on Windows 7 or 8 it may work better with different options. For blitter options, I have enable point filtering, and that's pretty much it. For Fightcade, this is how you have your display. So if you guys want the score on, you can have display overlay, display bigger overlay, and show scores in unranked matches. Also, for run ahead, this is a new option for Fightcade 2, which basically reduces input delay at the cost of visual settings in the game. So the game will look a little jerkier, it'll look a little skippier, you may have some frame droppage, but what it's doing is it's basically going to reduce input delay for you. And how it does that, I don't want to get into because it's way above my head and I probably will mess up in trying to explain it and tell you something wrong. So all I will say is I think it may be 1 frame automatic. The default setting may be set to 1 frame. If it is not, I would highly suggest for anyone playing on Fightcade 2 to set it to disable. Now the reason why I say that is because it is very CPU intensive and a lot of people's machines may not be able to handle it. And the unfortunate thing is, if one player has it on and the other player has it off, it's on for both players. So if both players don't have it off, then it is on. So I would, just say as a courtesy and to try and keep the game consistent for everyone, let's try and have it disabled. If your opponent wants to have it on, maybe you guys can discuss that in chat, or in the in-game options, you can type T and then you're able to chat directly with your opponent in the game window. But I would like it for the standard to be off. I think that would be best for everyone in the long run. As far as window size, you can set it to whatever. It's pretty much going to start up at the same size no matter what, and if you want it full screen, you'll have to do it yourself manually. Toggle full screen mode. This is not a full screen window. This is literally full screen mode. So where you have a full game screen, but there's no there's no bar here. There's no navigation bar. There's no options to minimize or close the window or anything. It's literally just your entire screen is the game. I have found that that is not the best for me, but maybe it's something that works for you. As far as full screen resolution, you can set it to, you know, if you have a typical HD display, 1920 by 1080. Monitor properties, it's automatically set to automatically detect full screen resolution and aspect ratio. You can select it if you want, it really doesn't matter. The only other thing that you're going to want to set up now is your game inputs. Here is where you set up your buttons. So every time you double click something, it's going to ask you for a prompt. If you have an arcade stick or a keyboard or a hitbox or a pad, the corresponding button that you hit will now be that action, right? So for player 1 coin, say for example I hit start on my D-pad, my PS4 controller would be options, I think. You know, that button will now be your coin. For start, it'll be whatever button you assign to that. Then up, down, left, right, you know, jab, strong, fierce, short, forward, roundhouse, basic navigation. The other options that you can set up down here, right, I believe are the reset and diagnostic buttons. So reset basically just resets the game. It's like you started again, you know, you just opened the window. So if you guys want to reset, you can assign that to a button. I think by default it's set to F3. Pretty sure it is. For diagnostic, that's basically going to take you to the diagnostic screen, which allows you to change in-game settings. So for example, you can change the number of rounds, you can set it to free play, you can set it to event mode, you can set it to you know, how much damage is done. There's a lot of options in that screen. I wouldn't mess with that too much, you know, just in general. But for casuals, or maybe, you know, if you want to test something out, that'd be an option for you. And then once you're done, you can click save preset, I guess, but I think it saves it automatic. I think it automatically saves your inputs, because I've never had to click that option. Once you're done, you can test out your buttons and make sure that everything works correctly. I think that's it, pretty much. There's nothing else that I can think of that you would need to set up. Once you're done with test game, you can close the window. And then what you'll see here on the side, currently I am set to away. But if you want to have people challenge you, you can go to online. And then everyone will be able to challenge you, because you will show up under looking to play. As far as explaining all of these numbers and symbols here, the letter to the right of the player name is going to be your rank. So currently this guy is rank D. I believe it goes D through S or E through S. I don't think I've seen an E though, so it probably just shows up as question mark before you. I think question is the question mark shows that you're unranked or something, that you haven't won a ranked match yet, but that you are available for ranked matches. But yeah, I think it goes D through S rank. And then over here you will have your connection status. So basically, this is going to show you how good your connection potentially is with someone. Now, granted, you can have 3 bars. I've experienced this where I've played someone with 3 bars and their connection is still pretty, you know, pretty bad. But you can hover over this and it will actually give you the ping. So for Sunny here, I have a ping of 29, and that's pretty good. For this guy here, it's 8, and the higher you go up on the list, the lower the ping will be, which is ideal for you, right? You want as low a ping as possible. Now this red exclamation mark here is the Wi-Fi indicator. But notice it says might be using Wi-Fi. It's not 100%, it's not foolproof, so it may be a false positive. There's really no way to know for sure without, you know, directly asking your opponent. But I have found that in almost every case where I've played someone that has an exclamation mark, it very much feels like you're playing someone on Wi-Fi, because their connection is not as smooth as someone who's playing on a wired connection. So just, you know, make of that what you will. If you guys want to choose to avoid Wi-Fi players, then, you know, this is a good way of judging who is on Wi-Fi. Other than that, dude, the only thing that you want to do now is you can right-click a name, you can click profile. I'm sorry, profile and ignore are options here, as well as spectate when you're wanting to spectate matches. You can click spectate here and then a window will come up. But if you guys want to challenge, if they're a ranked player, you will get all of these choices here. If they're an unranked player, when you click challenge, it will just issue a challenge to them. So if you guys want to play ranked matches, you can choose first to 2, 3, 5, 10, or 20, or you can choose to do an unranked match even if you're both ranked players. So really up to you. Once you do that and the player has accepted, that's the other thing too. Sometimes people don't accept. That's, you know, they just leave it on away, or maybe they stepped out, or maybe they're not looking to play at the moment. Whatever the case may be, once they've accepted your match, you will get a loading bar temporarily, and then the emulator window will pop up just like it did for test game, something like this. And then once you're both in there, you can start playing your match. And that's pretty much it. There's really nothing else to it. If you guys have any questions, definitely get at me on my Discord, or hit me up you know, on my social media at KDAlpha. I might upload this to YouTube, I might not, we'll see. But either way, guys, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to get a hold of me. If you want to get a hold of that download link for the ROMs in my Google Drive, hit me up. I don't want to put that out there publicly for obvious reasons. But hopefully you guys are able to use this guide in order to set up your Fightcade 2 experience and get some Third Strike in with us.